Should you do strict carnivore forever? Or is maybe there a better path? What's up, ladies and gents? Colin here, back for another video. This one's on the carnivore diet, but this could also apply to any diet, AIP, Whole30, autoimmune protocol, anything that is a elimination-based diet. Carnivore itself is pretty much the purest form of elimination-based diet. It is just meat, just animal products, right? And you could even take it to the nth degree where you don't even do dairy, because dairy can obviously have its own things that you have to throttle and understand and test. Carnivore is really, really good. It's just like a Whole30. You should do it, eliminate all those things. But I think you should take it a step further. Whereas Whole30, people do Whole30, 30 days are up. Maybe they go back to the way they were eating. Maybe they keep certain things out, still like grains or something, but maybe they add in all the other things like cheese and this and that and tortillas or whatever. I think with a carnivore diet, you can do the same thing, but you should, for a period of time, maybe 6 months, slowly introduce foods in a way so that you can understand how they affect you. Maybe you start with adding grass-fed dairy to your diet. So you do strict carnivore, 30 days, grass-fed dairy, couple weeks, see how you feel. Maybe you test certain things, cheese, cream, whatever you're doing, milk. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And you kind of build a repertoire of the foods that work, the foods that borderline, and the foods that you can pretty much enjoy all the time. You build that into your eating plan. So now you have a carnivore plus dairy, certain dairy, I should say, eating plan. Now you want to introduce something like certain fruits. So you do carnivore plus dairy and fruit, or you remove the dairy, and the next phase test is carnivore plus fruit. Maybe you have some honey in there. I know Saladino's talking about that a lot. Just making that popular. So carnivore plus fruit, I also think is very ancestrally appropriate. It's kind of like if you wanted to add something to your diet that was very metabolically flexible and ancestrally appropriate, it would be a carnivore-based diet with some fruit here and there, and maybe some honey here and there. That is probably closest to the natural diet. And of course, if you're closer to the equator, your ancestors ate more fruit. The further are your way, the lighter your skin is, the more likely you're going to do better on straight animal foods. After you do the carnivore plus fruit, now you have a carnivore diet plus fruit, you have a carnivore diet plus dairy, and maybe you mix them both on the next phase. Maybe you only do this for a week at a time. Or maybe every day you take one food and you eat that with your main meal, maybe steak or whatever, have something on the side, and then you see how you feel. You could also test doing your second meal of the day, where instead of having any animal foods, you do just the food you're testing. So maybe have a bowl of yogurt, maybe have some cheese, and maybe some salmon roe or something, or just straight cheese. What you're trying to do is test the different foods to figure out what's perfect for you. You want to answer the question, do you need to do a strict carnivore diet forever? A lot of us don't need to. A lot of us may not even really do our best on that way of eating. It's definitely sustainable, but there is a case to be made for gut flora and variability and just mental sanity to having other foods in your diet. So for me, I'm still through this tweaking phase where I'm still doing primarily carnivore. I'll have fruit here and there, not a big deal. I'll have dairy as part of my carnivore diet. I'm trying to optimize for protein so I can get down to a certain leanness level while also prioritizing strength and muscle building. And if I want an almond flour tortilla every so often, I might have that. If I want some like sweet and sparkling water drink, like mango flavor from that Waterloo brand, I might have that. And I'll have my Rebel ice cream from time to time. But I don't find myself craving many green plant-based foods. Like we'll have salad sometimes, that's fine. It's never something that I'm like, feels amazing. I don't ever feel really like bloated, especially if I do like an iceberg or a very mild romaine lettuce salad, it's fine. Doesn't fill me up a ton. I might even do something like cucumbers without the peel as a way to get a high satiety food with low calories. That's a really good strategy if you're trying to lose weight and or manage appetite. And the more I do this, the more I get in tune and closer to what my ideal diet is. And really what it is a flexible carnivore diet or an ancestrally appropriate, flexible, animal-based way of eating. I know that's a mouthful, but that's basically what we're after. Because again, this is the most ancestrally appropriate way of eating. Our ancestors ate plants, they ate honey, they ate anything they could get their hands on for the most part. A lot of it, though, would have been animal foods. Those animal foods would have been cycled because they wouldn't have been successful hunting every single day. The one thing about carnivore that is not exactly a replica of what our ancestors used to do, unless we're Inuit or maybe the Plains Buffalo Indians or whatever, it's likely that we wouldn't have eaten meat every single day. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but it does mean that you might run into problems if you do that over and over and over again. So there could be a case to be made to having some flexibility once you're eating. But like I said, I'm getting closer and closer to what my ideal diet is. And I can say that it's going to include dairy. It's going to include some fruit here and there if I want it.
I'm going to have some salad from time to time if I want it. I'm going to have some sweet potatoes from time to time if I want it. I'm going to have my Rebel ice cream from time to time if I want it. I'm going to have some rice from time to time if I want it.
And lately we've been doing gluten-free pastas, and I'm making like shrimp pasta, and I made a garlic shrimp thing last night, and that's fine. I felt kind of bloated afterwards. There's a lot of carbs. I definitely don't want to do that every single day, and I definitely keep my carbs super low. But what I'm finding for the most part is these things aren't really creating any nagging issues. And so I can kind of have my approved list, and things that I know bother me, I put on my disapprove list. And that's really, I think, what the goal of the carnivore diet should be. You should get to that flexible animal-based way of eating through testing, and then use that to sustain you for life. And if you fall off here and there, you get right back on. And if you need a reset here and there, you do a strict carnivore 30 to 60 days, and bam, you're right back to where you started, and then you can start the process again. Let me know what you think about this and your experience and where you're at on your ancestrally appropriate animal-based way of eating diet. I'd like to see that in the comments. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe so you get more videos like this and other videos on ancestral mindset and a little bit of everything, actually. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, Colin here. Got a freebie for you. Click on the button below to go to the ancestralmind.com and download the 7 Principles of Living Wild. This is a short PDF that's got some of the main principles, such as real food, sleep, movement, and a couple more that are going to help you live more ancestrally in accordance with your genes.